there and welcome to my video. Today I'm going to be working in this board book and I'm using all these different jelly papers that I made, my little collage papers. This is a sort of a art journal that I've created and I just want to keep going because I'm well into it and I want to actually use it. So I just put some collage papers down on each page and make kind of an inviting place to write some thoughts and maybe do some doodles, but you'll see how it comes out. But today I just wanted to talk a little bit about something that I've been thinking about a lot lately, and that's the topic about creativity as a skill. I think that a lot of times we feel like creativity should just be there naturally, but what I have experienced throughout my art practice is that it's something like a muscle that you must develop. So I feel like if you've been feeling the pull to make art again, or if even you're just thinking about making art and you're not sure because something keeps stopping you, I think this video is going to be helpful for you. So a lot of times when I'm talking to my son, who's 9 years old, we talk about confidence and how it's not so much something that you have, but it's something that you practice, especially in any kind of creative endeavors. And for sports too, we talk a lot about sports and getting better at that. But a lot of times we wait until we feel confident before we try something new, like taking out our paints or trying out a new product or, signing up for an art class. But a lot of times we have to really understand that confidence comes from doing the hard thing. So even if it's messy or if you do it wrong or if it's imperfect, it's important to actually try to do that thing because that's where you build the confidence. It's like learning to drive or a new skill like that. You don't wait until you're perfect at it to do it. You don't wait until you're a perfect driver to get behind the wheel. You just practice. You stall, you maybe bump into a car, you make a weird turn, but you practice and you get better at driving. And I feel like creativity is the same way. You don't get confident about thinking about making art. You build it by showing up for 10 minutes a day or however long you have and just bring along scraps of paper and glue and paint and just get to work, just trying to work. So I want to also acknowledge that having the time to do this creativity is another hurdle that we also encounter. So sometimes it's not so much having the confidence to show up, but it's also making the time to show up, especially if you're women and you're caregiving and you're working a full-time job or you're just tired. There's just a lot going on in the world and a lot to take care of. Um, but I just feel like, we have to acknowledge that it's not about that you're lazy or undisciplined. It's just that you're living in a world that doesn't always value rest or creative endeavors or hobbies. If they're not productive, a lot of times they're kind of looked down on. So, it takes a lot of guts to say, hey, I'm going to take this time for myself. I'm going to set aside these 20 minutes every day to have a little scribble or a paint or just do something that really fills my well. Um, it's just something I think about a lot because I think we're all so busy doing things that we feel like we're supposed to be doing, but the things that we're supposed to be doing are the things that really make us feel good and give us energy to do the things we have to do. So I know when I am feeling like I'm not creating the time or I'm not, just making space for my art practice, I just remind myself that I can start so small that it feels silly. So just bringing one tube of paint, one paper, a glue stick, and just start doing something. I don't need, 2 hours block time. I can just do it in 10 minutes, 20 minutes just to kind of let my mind wander and be creative in a way. A lot of times, some of my pieces start out with just being inspired by a color or a shape or just a paper that I see in my collage papers, and it just kind of sparks an interest in me. So I always try to keep that in mind. It doesn't take a lot of time and a lot of space to be creative. It just takes the willingness to try. So I feel like, maybe the next time you hear just that little voice inside saying, I'm not good enough to do this. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not an artist. I just want to remind you that you don't have to be. We are just practicing. We are all just practicing and trying new things and trying things on and seeing what works and seeing what doesn't. So, it's a mindset shift because confidence is really not some magical quality that arrives. It's a creative skill. And just like every other skill, you have to get better by showing up, by doing it, doing the work, and really just putting in a little time. So that is my little talk today on confidence as a skill. It's just something I've been thinking about because I've seen quite a few comments mention that people aren't feeling really confident about what they're doing, but I feel like it's not about feeling confident enough to sit down. It's just feeling good enough to want to sit down and try, and the confidence comes after. So you could see in here, I'm just kind of playing with some papers to try to wrap up this little journal, the little art journal pages. And I'm just making them a little spot that I'll want to write down some thoughts and just record this moment in my life. I've also been thinking about making a kind of scrapbook type thing for memories. So I'm going to maybe work on that next. But here are just little fodder pieces that I love to play with. I feel like it adds just a little something to each piece. So I hope these thoughts were helpful to you today. I had a lot of fun working on these journal pages. And I just wanted to let you know that you're not alone in your confidence journey. And here's another video of a page in this board book, and I hope to see you again soon.